Okay.
Yeah, I'll give it a few minutes to.
Sorry.
Mute your phone. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. It's your girl, Diane. Tuesday edition. We're listening to Naomi. Guys, guess what we have today? We have a special guest in the studio all the way from California. Hey, invite your friends, tag your loved ones, let them know we are live. dDTalks. Another Tuesday, y'all. Keep listening to Naomi for now. Hey guys, welcome to another edition of dDTalks. Today is Tuesday, we are live, and I have with me a young gentleman who is doing amazing work, y'all. You want to get to meet him. He is phenomenal. He is a trendsetter in the industry. Yo, this guy is Nigerian born, Cameroonian raised. What have you? Minnesota educated, LA based. He's an actor. He's a filmmaker. He has TV credits, you name it. He is with us live in the studio. I can't wait to introduce to you this young gentleman all the way from Cali, and the person of Tony Tambi, y'all. Give me a chance to introduce him to you at this moment. He is dialing in with us, joining us live. Tony, welcome to dDTalks.
Hi, Diane. Thanks for having me.
Oh, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
One second. Somehow we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Tony, 1 second. 1 second. Somehow. Guys, in the meantime, let me let you continue to listen to Naomi as invite your friends, y'all. Tony, I don't know what's going on. Give us a few minutes, right? There's a technical
Okay.
issue on your
Yeah.
sound. Somehow they
And
can.
like also you coming in is like in and out sometimes.
Okay, I'm not sure what's going on.
We'll figure it out. I'm here.
Okay. We have sound issues. Dex, Dexter. Okay. Sound issues on Tony. Hold on.
No worries.
Okay. Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I think, hold on. Tony,
Yes.
okay, looks like we can hear you now.
Good, good, good.
All right, guys, that's awesome. That is phenomenal. We have Tony Tambi live with us in the studio. Welcome once again for those who are just getting to meet him. This is the young gentleman all the way from Cali, doing big things in the industry. Want to officially welcome you to dDTalks again.
Thank you again. Thank you again for having me. I'm excited to be
Oh
here.
my God, what is going on? Okay, looks.
Hello again, everybody.
Can,
Welcome to
can
the
you hear us?
show. This is the African
I can.
Beat on the
I
Voice
can.
of America. Earlier on today on the show, I told you that my special guest on this day
Can you hear us?
award-winning Cameroonian
I can still hear you.
superstar,
Yes.
Naomi
Wow.
Achu.
What is going
You want to
on?
know more about her? She's going to tell you exactly
What?
who she is and how far she's come. Welcome to the African Beat, Naomi.
Thank you so much,
Hello?
Mr. Vandy. I am so
Yes,
happy to
I'm
be
here.
And it is so good because I know it's been a long time that I've been running after you. Naomi, I want you to come to the studio, come to my show. What have been
very
keeping
much.
you
Dexter,
away?
Just in the studio and waiting for the right time to come to the
hello?
studio and making sure that when I come, I have a lot to give
Hello?
to your
Today.
viewers.
Today
I'm
you're
here.
ready.
I don't know.
I'm
I think we
Oh
lost
my
Dexter.
goodness.
I'm ready. And
You
I'm
are
happy.
really ready.
Thank
And,
you.
and we're going to talk about your music, and you have a brand new album, right?
Yes,
Okay, we're going to look at that.
Hello?
What's the title of the album?
it's called Long Live the Queen.
Dexter,
Long Live the Queen.
Yes.
hello?
Oh my God.
Yes.
So who is the
I
queen in
cannot
this
hear
song?
you.
Me. But I think Long Live the Queen is
My phone is
it's
on
more
maximum
of
volume
a
and I can't hear you.
concept as opposed
Yes,
to just me. It's more of a concept of
we
the
cannot hear
African
him
woman
on all the
being
rooms.
strong and empowering herself and empowering the
He can
community.
hear me, but
Of
I
course,
don't hear him.
I have the moniker called Queen of Bamenda. So, people would call me Queen of Bamenda, and I was like, okay,
Tony,
what's the
say
next
something.
album? I have a song called Busybody
Hello,
on it,
hello, hello.
which talks about
Like he's
hardworking
talking now, we
women
can't
and
hear it.
women taking time to take care of themselves. So really, it's about female
Okay, so
empowerment.
what is going on from this end?
Not all, though. I mean, it's a
Let me see.
it,
Should
it
I
has
use
to do with
headphones? Let me see.
responsibility,
Yep,
Okay,
that
hold
makes
on,
sense.
hold
that
on.
there's a lot of things that people can pick from.
All right. Well, I think we have a lot to talk about today.
Tony, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, yeah, we can hear you now. Great, excellent. So I apologize again, guys. I apologize for all of this. Technology, that's what technology would do every now and then.
It is
Um,
technology.
yes. So again, guys, this is Tony from Cali. He's doing We are interviewing him today because he produced something. He did a great web series called Consequences. All right. So, Tony, tell us a little bit about this exciting web series. It just had the first season one just wrapped up with the finale. So, tell us a little bit about this venture of yours.
So, Consequences is a web series about reformed internet scammers who get a team together to reinvent their old business, and this time they're only targeting bad people. I'm sure most of us have heard or gotten those emails from people telling you they're a Nigerian prince, or they're a dying Christian and they want to leave some money to you to help with the poverty and charity and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So these guys don't do this anymore, but they're using the skills they learned as internet scammers to scam bad people. So sort of like a Robin Hood type thing.
Mm.
Yes.
So basically, I mean, Consequences, though, I mean, I watched it and I was like reeled into the whole thing. And I was like, whoa, this is kind of an interesting twist to it. You put an interesting twist to it. So why did you decide to, I don't want to give it away, obviously, but the spin is a little different. You're talking about consequences, but you're saying you're tying in a moral lesson to it. You say you want to give the victims, something to think about. So why did you think to tie in that?
For me, Consequences is about second chance. So giving people who did something bad before a second chance to do something right. So I felt it was important to have, for me, I love stories that are not just entertaining, but also have a lesson behind them.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the whole point of Consequences, trying to teach people, it's not just about the cons and the scams. It's also teaching people ways to avoid getting conned and getting scammed, because it's what's happening out there all the time.
So for you, I know you said this was meant to be a pilot, like a TV series, but then you converted it into a web series. So what's the difference, really?
Okay, so let's see how to put this. Most TV shows, before they get made, they do what they call a pilot, which is the first episode of the season of the whole show, to see if it works, to see if the audience is going to respond to it. So a lot of us writers, people here working in the industry, we write a TV show, a pilot, which is what I did. But then I got into a few film festivals. It did okay. It didn't do well enough for anyone to get interested in it and try to get it made. So I decided to look for a way to actually get that story told.
Wow.
So I broke it down into a web series. And a web series is also a TV show, but it's made specifically for the web and for online distribution. And when you do that, typically people know that the vision, that you can scale back your vision a little bit. People don't expect the production value to be as good as what you get in a movie or TV show.
Right.
So you can do a web series for a little bit less money, and that's what I was trying to do with Consequences. So I took the TV show and chopped it up into 7 different episodes and gave each one a middle, a beginning, and an end, and give each one a distinct flavor, a distinct story, and still had them all tying together to be one whole season of the web series.
Man, but there is so much suspense, though. Like every episode, I'm like, this is like, I'm curious, like, what is going on? Like, what's the next thing? You actually do a good job with your cliffhangers,
Thank you. I really paid a lot of attention to them. For me, it was a big thing to look for a way to make it serialized. And people want to say, okay, what's happening next week? I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the coming week. So I try to make sure every episode has a sort of a cliffhanger where you're like, oh, okay, what just happened? Let's see. So we can get people to tune in. For me, it's really important to treat this like a TV show where you could grow your audience every week and just keep getting better and give people a reason to come back to watch again.
Absolutely. I think for that, I think you succeeded in doing an excellent job with.
Thank you.
The day I said I tuned in, is like I kept watching. I was like, okay, I can't wait. And then thankfully the 7th episode came out. I was like, I gotta watch that. I got reeled in, and you make them nice, short, and sweet. So that's really good.
Which is also another characteristic of a web series. Online, most people don't want to go online to watch a TV show for 40 minutes or 30 minutes. They'll do that on their TV, or you go to the movies to go watch a movie. But on the web, the content is typically shorter. A lot of people told me to keep it under 9, 10 minutes, but it was really hard to keep some of it under 9, 10 minutes. So we have one 9-minute episode, but the longest one I think is about 13 minutes. So
Yeah.
still short.
But it's still short and good. So really, let's talk a little bit about the title. I think you call it consequences with a dollar sign and S, right? So you're talking
Yes.
about con, so it's not necessarily consequences. So it's really about con, right?
So it's a play on the word. It's a play on the word because for me, I love shows or I love movies where you're thinking. You finish watching and it's left with you and you're wondering what the whole point of something that happened was. So consequences to me is one, like cons, like the con and the sequences of a con.
Mm-hmm.
So consequences, but also I felt it was important that there are consequences for people's actions, if that makes sense.
Right.
So not to give away the ending of season one, but you see the crew they do have a consequence for what they were doing. And it also ties into what you talked about with the morality and having a lesson. Like typically you see a consequence for every single action.
You
And so
do.
it's supposed to be a combination of those two things. A lot of times you watch other similar stories or similar movies and there seems to be no consequence of you just typically have like maybe somebody takes something away from the bad guy and that's it. But I felt like, even though they're doing a good thing, is it always good? Is it right? Do they have a right to take from someone else? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I felt that it was important for them to also have, some consequences for some of their actions.
So one of the things is you say you mirror the era of the internet scammers, right? When the Yahoo guys was a popular thing. They had documentaries on that.
Yes.
So as someone from the continent, why did you think that it was important to project that again on big screen? Given that people are worried about the image, and here you are talking about scammers again in the web series. Elaborate a little bit on that, if you would, please.
Okay. So for me, one, as an African, I get upset sometimes when I see, they show us doing the 419 scam, and then they do a documentary, and we're made to look like horrible people, But then when an American does it, or should I say a white person does it, it's cool. It's Ocean's 11. It's
It's 007 too.
It's confidence. It's a cool movie,
Yeah.
But when we do it, and people always look down on 419 scams, but sadly enough, it's a big business. It's still working till today. People sent they were sending faxes, went to letters, it's gone to email. It keeps working. So I wanted to start by taking something that they know us for. You have to, you write what you know and you start with what you know.
Correct.
When they think of people of us from the continent, they always say, oh, internet scammers, that's what they did. So I wanted to start with that. But for me, it was also important to flip it and show that these guys saw the error of their ways.
Mm-hmm.
And everything they're doing now is for a good reason. They're doing it for good. So I'm not supporting internet scamming. Internet scamming is wrong. There's no way you can justify it at all. It's always going to be wrong. It's not something we should do. But at the same time, it exists. So what positive spin could I get out of it? And I felt that telling a story about reformed internet scammers who saw the wrongdoing and who are trying to do better would be the best way to go about doing that.
Right. So I see Anza is saying when a white person does it, it plays off as smart business. Not cool. Thank you, Tony. So I guess she's re-echoing your statement. And you're really right about that. So those movies, I mean, when it's done, it's called 007. They call it big titles.
It's cool, yeah. When it's done, it's like the coolest thing in the world. They get the slow motion effect, and you're like, oh wow, I want to be those people. But when we do it, you see us, we get arrested, and they do a documentary, and they make us look as ridiculous as possible. They make us look as, like people with no brains at all.
And think about the mafia, the era of the mafia, the New York mafia, right? I mean, that's really, yes. I mean, they did a whole Godfather movie and all of that talking about, but it was cool, really. So the New York area, they know about the mafia, and like you say, it's a good projection. So I like the fact that you take it and put this. Initially, when I watched it, I was like, why are we talking consequences? Why are we talking con man? But then, you watch it and you're like, okay, it's really not what I thought it was. So it's really cool to that effect.
For me, it was really, again, like I said, it's really about a second chance. That this is what they did. And like my backstory with them is they did this as kids, teenagers, moved to the U.S. like a lot of us here, and saw firsthand the error of their ways. They saw like some of the victims of these crimes, and that gave them a change of heart. They realized, you know what, they shouldn't be doing these things. But also, they saw that there's people who are still taking advantage of others as well. There's people who are scamming others here. So what they're doing is you use your scams, to catch other scammers.
Absolutely. So Tony, I'm gonna take a few minutes just to show a little intro, a little trailer for your series for those
Oh,
people
lovely,
who
lovely. Thank you.
who are watching.
Copper for the sake of gold's glitter. No one listens to Africans.
You know who we are. 419. Con men. Back then, we did it to survive. But today, we call ourselves con men with a conscience.
You want me to send thousands of dollars to some African country to some guy I've never met?
This is good. But I'm more interested in what we Americans call joint venture.
Tito, reformed Yahoo boy, finds the target and comes up with the plan. Sebastian, Tito's right-hand man, lawyer 9 to 5, Robin Hood 5 to 9. Everyone knows him an athlete, the chameleon. Hard as nails, cold as ice, quick hands, got that pretty face fully.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, likewise.
Jack the Hack.
So, in other words, it's just a basic con, and we're using an internet scam pitch.
But you do more than just hack, though. I mean, you're married to Isabel, and she's not here. Is she no longer doing this?
Isabel?
Isabel!
Don't you ask Isabel?
Doing the wrong thing, even if it's for the right reasons, is still by definition the wrong thing.
They're depending on me.
The girls and I are depending on you too.
You guys don't look like conmen. Hopefully you're better at these.
Well, we prefer the term wealth redistribution experts. None of us is doing this for the money.
You keep living in denial.
What happened to us?
No, you lied to me. Keep looking for love in all the wrong places.
So is this revenge or business?
Business is revenge.
I'm just playing with you guys. Nah, we're here to do this job, so what's next?
My cast, that's one of the greatest things, one of the things I'm really excited about. So we have Bamba John Bamba, who's from the Ivory Coast. He plays Sebastian. I've met him at a couple of auditions. He's a really amazing actor. He was going to be in the new Black Panther. He's done a ton of work on TV and movies. And we always met and we always talked about something we could work on together. So that's Bamba, amazing actor. Then we have Constance Ajuma, who's actually from Cameroon. And I met her in 2008 at a UCLA project where we played a brother and sister. And we kept looking for the right thing to work together on again. So we're lucky to get this project. I wrote her as my sister. There's Ebony Adams. I met Ebony through Bamba John, amazing actress as well. She's an African American, really, really good. She's done a lot of work over here as well. And there's John Tague. John Tague is somebody I've worked with. I've worked in a couple of projects with John Tague before. I met him in an acting class many years ago. He's a fabulous actor. I have this joke that I say every movie needs some John Tay because is really good. So those are the 5 leads. I wanted to have an ensemble of characters because again, it's a team. So for me, it was important to get a team of people who are getting this done. We have 3 supporting characters. There's Jarvis George, is the younger brother of Jason George. You guys have seen Jason George on a ton of shows, Grey's Anatomy. He works a lot. Jarvis works a lot as well. Really good. Samantha Stewart, I worked with her on a different project, also another fabulous actress. And we were lucky to get Tony Okongbowa. You guys may know him from, he was Ellen's DJ, as DJ Tony O. Yes, he was Ellen's DJ many years ago. He's an amazing actor, very intelligent, just brought a lot of life to the character of Shabazz, who, as you know, is very crucial to to the whole story. Yes. So I think that was the big thing that really excited me. I mean, I was happy to do something I wrote, but what really excited me was the cast we had, having them all come together. And I have the first 4 leads, apart from John, all co-producing with me, as well as with Francis and Nalum. So we have 5 producers. So they all, it's just been great, from the talent they bring, the hard work they bring, the energy they bring, the ideas they bring, and just the support has been really cool. So I have them, my cast and my family as well, for Consequences. Well, for me, again, it was important to tell an entertaining story, but also let people get a slice of life of the African story, get a slice of life of our heritage, of what we are. And a big part of Africa is languages. I would assume that the average African speaks more than 2 languages, or speaks at least 2 languages. You speak English, French, Pidgin English, and probably some other dialects as well. And so for me, language is one of the biggest things. That's like, for me, that's our culture, the language, the music, what we eat. And language is also a sign of intelligence, I think. The ability to speak a whole bunch of languages, because you're thinking in one language and answering the question in another language. People who speak different languages, to me, are just some of the most intelligent people in the world. And a lot of those people reside on the African continent. So to me, it was important to have a show that just shows all those aspects. And again, with Cameroon as the microcosm of Africa, it was important to show that we speak English and French in Cameroon. So I wanted to have that on there. And also the language thing is character, you speak a different language, you become a different character, if that makes sense. Yes, so it's also about, because sometimes you have to be somebody else. And a way to become somebody else is you look different, you sound different, and you speak a different language. So it was very important. I hopefully with season 2, I really want to look for a way to to get as many more languages in there as possible. And just something that just shows the diversity of Africa, which I keep thinking is missing on a lot of the shows you watch on TV today and what you see in a lot of Hollywood movies. I just feel that diversity is missing. And I want to fix that, correct that, or change that somehow. Season two. We've been throwing around some ideas for season 2. What can I say without giving too much away? More of the same. We think we're still gonna have a target. The team is gonna go after the target. One thing which you probably realized from watching season 1 is that I wanted to show that everybody is an individual. All the members of the team have different reasons for doing what they do. So even though that was the case in season one, we were still all able to get the job done. Now that may affect us a little bit more in season two because everybody's getting more confident. There's been a few disagreements in terms of how things should be done or when things should be done. So you're gonna have a little bit more of that. So what can I say? More cons, more drama, um, more family, more love, more entertainment. It's still gonna be a great. It's gonna be a great season. I'm looking forward to it myself. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, I noticed that you show even in the little cast that you have, you show intermarriages, you show diverse culture, you show friction in family ties, strained relationships. You know, is that something that was important to you to project as far as the immigrant life or the immigrant story, the immigrant narrative out here?
Yes, 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 it was. It was again, and it also it just goes back to showing immigrants as diverse individuals and as smart, intelligent individuals. A lot of times when you see a story, it's just, oh, it's the family loves each other, and it's almost as if we're simple-minded, which I was trying to show that we're not. Like you could have people who are from the same family, but they don't get along, which happens to all of us.
It does.
Um, you could have the interracial thing. What happened with the interracial thing? I think I just had to work with John Tig, and I needed. But again, it's also part of something that happens. There's a lot of Africans here in interracial marriages, but that is also missing on every single Hollywood movie or TV show. Think about it. Think of a single African, think of a single movie that you know that has an African character married to somebody from a different race. Nothing.
We don't see that many, and if we do,
We don't.
it's always the other way around. It's always the white chick married to. It's always the white chick married to the black dude. It's never really the
True,
other way around. So
true,
it
true,
really
true.
is.
Yeah. So I wanted to just really show, depict as much as possible a slice of life of what I live, of what we all live as Africans here. Everybody here knows an African that's in an interracial marriage. Um, Everybody here knows an African who is a lawyer. Everybody knows an African who is in the medical field, a nurse, a doctor, a pharmacist. Everybody knows an African who is in IT. There's so many things where we're salespeople, we're just different things which we never see. And for me, it was just important to just try to show that divide. Yes, I don't want us to look like a dysfunctional family, but again, sometimes that's what we are.
I mean,
It's
because
family.
it's drama. So it's drama. So you need that. You need to you have that flavor if you're gonna have drama. Everything
Oh
just has to
yes,
be
yes.
rose.
I mean, what gives you more drama than family, right? Family is like the biggest. Just family by itself is drama. Just when you think about family. And not just drama in terms of bad drama, but good drama as well. But that's what family is. For me, it was important to just make the show deal with other themes, not just. It's not just a show about con men who are trying to do better, but it's a show about family. It's a show about betrayal,
Right.
about love, about friendships, you know, and how friendships could get tested. It's about doing the right thing, like the character of Isabel, played by Constance, says, doing the right thing for the wrong reasons is still by definition a wrong thing. So it was important to just show all those different aspects of what we go through, and I think that also helps with making the characters, what can I say, three-dimensional. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Compared to if it was just a con man or con artist who's trying to do one thing. It was important to just show that aspect. And again, sorry, something that was a big deal for me was just like a lot of times when you have a con movie, it's typically just about the con. For me, it was very important to show that those con men are individuals as well. They're people with hopes and dreams and relationships and families. It was important to show that aspect as well. So that's why I really got the family thing going and the friendship and that whole teamwork thing happening in there.
I mean, the way you portray us as Africans in the diaspora, I mean, you're still dealing with your African heritage. You're still dealing with relationships, on the continent. So you're really living in two different worlds, still linked in one way or the other. You're trying to get this stuff so you can impress the people back home, or you're doing it so that you can give back to them, right? So it was good. You're putting those elements. You have one guy who's coming in from home. You're telling him about, you're introducing them to the American society, and it's really good. It's really good. The
Oh,
subject.
thank you, thank you, thank you. It's just that it's our life. It's our life that for some reason nobody wants to show that aspect of our life, and I decided, why not do it? A lot of people say mainstream media and TV and Hollywood doesn't give us the diversity that we need, and it's true. I know it's true, and my point is let's show that diversity as much as we can.
Okay, so people are asking in general, like, what got you to write? Is you are the guy who wrote the subplot, right? You're the script writer of this predominantly.
Yes.
So you have a big brain.
I try. But let me see where the genesis of this came from. In 2012, I did a short film called Chapter One, and Chapter One was about a woman who wanted her immigrant husband, who had some immigration issues, to kill her husband. Sorry, her immigrant boyfriend to kill her husband in exchange for legal status in the country.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend from one of the Latin American countries whose brother was actually arrested because his girlfriend, who he didn't know was married, tried to get him to kill the husband. And he actually tried to go through with the plan, but got arrested. And I also knew a few, should I say, internet scammers back home before I came to the US. And I always wanted to, I felt like, the whole internet scamming thing, it used to amaze me. Like, how do you just send out random emails to people and somebody responds and you guys start talking and somewhere along the line, the person is willing to send you money? It sounds like, to me, it's just the most amazing thing in the world. But I've also loved stories that deal with immigration and what people are willing to do to stay in the United States of America. People are willing to kill others. You're willing to steal from others. People are dying in Libya right now. You know what I mean? People try to cross the Mediterranean on a little raft just to get to the Western countries, and those stories have always amazed me. The whole things that we do to leave our country to go somewhere else. So I thought of a way to mesh those two stories together: the story of the woman who wants the husband dead, and the immigrant story. So in chapter one, the boyfriend is upset. Apparently, he didn't know the woman was married, and he realized that she was just trying to use him. He was an internet scammer, and so what he did was he decided to scam the husband and the wife. So that's how the whole idea of doing consequences came about. It came about from the short film I did called Chapter One. I did it in 2012. It did well. It played at a bunch of festivals nationwide. Also aired on PBS as part of their Shorts Showcase Festival. Is it on YouTube right now? It's not on YouTube right now. It's on Vimeo. But that's where the idea of consequences came from. Just taking a look into the life of the reformed internet scammer.
Right.
And again, I felt it was just I love telling stories about people like us, people who were born in Africa, who live in the US now, who live in England, who live in Italy, who live in Germany, who live in Canada. I feel like our stories always get lost. It's either the African who's in Africa or the African who just got to the West. But there's those of us in between, you know what I mean, who've lived in both worlds.
Absolutely.
And I love telling those stories. For me, that's anything I write is typically about those people. And this one was just great because 419 is something everybody talks about, that most people are aware of. So I wanted an introduction where people could be like, oh, okay, I know about the Yahoo boys, I know about internet scammers. So that's why I decided to pursue this. And at the same time, let it be clear that we're doing this for a good reason. We're not internet. We don't condone. We don't support internet scamming at all.
Yes. So let everybody who's watching get that clear. That's not what it's about. He's not advocating internet scammers. It's just a storyline, just saying things that already existed, and they're just putting it
Yes.
now into action. So it's not a
Yes.
lifestyle for the everyday. By no means,
No,
guys,
it's
don't do
it's
that.
not good. Internet scammers need to stop. It's not a good thing. It's never going to be a good thing. Except they're doing it to scam only bad people, right? In this case.
But it's still
um,
scary. So take yourself out of the equation.
True, true. It is. It is. It is. That's why for us it's important to get targets who are despicable people, people who've had some immoral aspect in their past or in their present. Like the character we have of Damian Miller. Damian Miller is a former NFL player who uses a charity he runs. The charity collects money for children and women in Africa,
Hmm.
and he spends the money for his personal expenses.
Yeah, in that case, that's terrible. So
That's terrible. That is a bad guy. He is worse than the internet scammer. So yeah. So then it's okay to
yeah, in
be
that case,
bad.
you put it that way. So you make it wonder wild. You say, okay, you did something bad, we're gonna wrong you as well.
Definitely, definitely. Again, like the consequences of your actions, still kind of going around to that. Like this is the result of you being a bad person.
Hmm.
Yes.
So, but let's talk a little bit about your other careers. A lot of people don't know. Maybe they're just hearing for the first time about consequences. But before you got to consequences, you have a whole history. I mean, you've starred in so many different things. Well, maybe not star. You've been a supporting actor, but you've had so many different roles on TV series, on different things. How did your journey? I mean, you came here for education, and then you decided you up and said, okay, you know what? I'm going to the West, to venture into Hollywood. How did that happen for you? Was that something, a childhood dream that you were trying to execute, or what was it?
Yes, 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 and no, but most of it is yes. Again, I was born in Nigeria, and Nigeria is one of the foremost African countries in terms of promoting arts, entertainment, so like sports, musicians, actors. I remember watching a play, "The Gods Are Not to Blame" by Ola Rotimi, and I
Yes.
was I was blown away. I was 6 years old. Like it could not leave my mind. It was amazing. It was beautiful. We moved to Cameroon, and I kept acting in little plays. Every single play, my mom made sure I was in the play. So that happened a lot in Nigeria. Like Nigeria is really big on promoting plays and arts, like I said, compared to Cameroon. But I acted in every single play as a kid. Moved to Cameroon, went to college, St. Joseph's College, Sasa in Buea, and we had a Golden Jubilee play. There was two of us in Form One who were in that play out of a cast of about 50, all older kids, and I was the only one with someone else. Um, so I kept making sure I was part of entertainment, part of doing a performance in front of an audience. I can't sing. That's the one thing I can't do. I can't sing for the life of me. Um, but I was typically a good performer. And that happened. I never thought about doing it professionally. I did the Cameroonian thing. You go to school so you can get a job, become a, you know, doctor, lawyer, one of those things. And I stayed in school, went to college, graduated with an accounting degree, moved to the US. Um, like I said, got an accounting degree in the US. And then I worked for about 6 months as an accountant. And I just told myself, this is the one country that lets you pursue your passion. This is the one country that gives you the opportunity. You know what I mean? If you're dedicated and if you're willing to work hard, you may make it. Um, so worked in accounting for 6 months, and I used to model back then as well. And I kept taking part in plays, but nothing too serious. And I just decided to, you know what? I'm going to pack my bags, move out to Los Angeles, and pursue an acting career. So that's what I did.
Oh, so anyway, so you went into Hollywood, and had a historic. You had quite an adventure. You ventured into. Let me show.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Share that
Um,
before I interject.
okay. So like getting here, you think you're coming here. Everybody encourages you, like, yeah, come here, come do this. You're gonna be the man. And I get here and I realize that for every one Tony Tambi, there's about 50 million more Tony Tambis. Um, there's those people, tons of people. Everybody is here from every country you can imagine, from every state you can imagine. So the competition was a lot, but I was lucky. I came here, I got into a bunch of plays. I did a lot of plays because plays were what really got me into this. And I got lucky. I got an NAACP theater nomination for a play I did called The Godfathers, um, which is it's a really cool play. It deals with missionaries in a West African country, and my character is this guy who is looking for ways to survive, like so many of us did, where we still believe in the traditional religion, and we're still trying to enjoy the benefits of Christianity. And the country was predominantly Muslim, so my character was also a little play guy of sorts who was always trying to look for ways to survive. I got an NAACP nomination for that play. I had a really good review in Daily Variety, so I bought 30 copies of the magazine, sent them back home. Like, people, I know what I'm doing. I got some talent, so forgive me for not pursuing the accounting thing. So that was good. Then I got lucky. I did a few TV shows. I did The Unit. I did a couple of episodes of Nick Tuck. I was on Scrubs. I did NCIS Los Angeles. And within this whole time, I've been doing a lot of short films, like producing them, writing some, starring in a lot of them. So even though I haven't done a major, like, what should I say, blockbuster or studio movie, I've done a ton of short films, a couple of independent feature films as well.
Wow.
And the longer I was here, I started realizing that it was important for me to tell the stories I want to tell.
Absolutely.
With the type of characters that I want to see on TV. I mean, it's great to play a character that you're given, but at the same time, I wanted to play the characters that you see on Consequences. I wanted to bring those characters to life. So the last 3, 4, 5 years I spent doing a lot more of my own writing. And I wrote a play called Letter from the President, a feature-length screenplay called Letter from the President.
Right.
That talks about a young African man who wants to come to America to live with his dad, who is African American. And he comes here and struggles with what it means to be Black in the United States. So the screenplay, it got into Forrest Whitaker run Junta Bucks Incubator program. The screenplay did okay. It hasn't been made into a feature film yet. Hopefully it will someday. But that's what I did. I wrote that. I wrote a short play, and then I also wrote the pilot for Consequences, which became the web series.
Oh, really nice. Since you're talking, then I'm going to show the audience a little uh, reel about, like your journey into this, some of the things that you're featured in. So if we take a few minutes so I can show you've played like a wide range of characters, quite frankly. So I'm gonna try to share that with the audience. So if we just hang on for a few seconds while I share that with them, so everybody can see a little bit.
Thank you.
Of course.
Listen to me. Now, you will come with me and do as I tell you. You must prove yourself. You understand me? Dr. McNamara.
And Philip, how are you?
Good. What are you doing here?
Since it's a Saturday, I thought I'd come down and volunteer for the day.
We can always use an extra hand.
We need your consent to present you to the bank as his son and beneficiary of the funds. That way, all the proceeds of his account will be paid to your account.
I've been Cameroon 80 years, I'm going to New York for the pass for Miami, from Monday to Los Angeles. I don't be here 5 years.
You guys sit tight. You'll be fine.
This.
It's a present!
Tell him how it works. You tell him how you take people.
You think that's what I mean?
Joseph, my old friend, will take care of you, but first, you gotta give me what I need.
Bonjour, docteur. Ça va bien?
Brother speaks French. We're gonna solve this puzzle, and in thanks, you'll say,
Merci beaucoup.
That one is nice.
Yes?
Are you looking for a gift?
Oh no, for myself, I want to decorate my studio. I just moved here to the neighborhood, to America.
Oh, you're French?
Oui.
Straight to the head, through the temple. He ain't living in a place of kindness and grace. Shadow drives down the dirt path, living behind bodyguards and bloodbath.
So that's a little bit of Tony Tambi there, starring in so many different variety of things, TV series, as you can see. Tony, tell me, like, what has been your favorite or memorable character that you really, really enjoy doing?
Oof, what's my favorite? There's so many of them. I think the character in the unit where we got to meet Dennis Haysbert, where I get shot. Um, that's probably one of my favorite because it was the first one,
Mm-hmm.
and it was my favorite in terms of money because you're getting paid to be on TV, and that's a life changer. The play, which we don't see on here, but the play was really cool because it was important to get the recognition from your peers in terms of what you're doing. Um, but my favorite character I'm playing right now is the guy in Consequences. It's not to be not to be not to be that guy, but to be honest, is the guy in Consequences is a character that I wrote, created a character as an actor, directed a bunch of episodes, produced it. It's just a character I love, so that has to be my favorite right now. Sorry.
Obviously, I think usually whatever you're doing at the current moment is always your favorite because your heart is in it. And this one is more sentimental because obviously you wrote it yourself. So it just makes sense.
Yes. It's I love it for so many reasons, for the obvious reasons, I guess. But that has to be one of the favorites.
One thing I want to take you back to the movie industry as a whole. As an African, being in this industry, you're in Hollywood, facing all that competition, like you said earlier. You got there and realized there's 1,000 of you trying to find the same thing. How do you differentiate yourself in this industry? What do you think is the thing that will make you stand out? Or what are some of the challenges that you face as an African character? You come here and you're already like behind. Most of these actors start as child actors, so they have a history in the industry before they become adults. What do you think are some of the challenges that you face?
To me, it's the same as with any other profession. Like coming here at a later age, where you're starting to do something at a certain point in your life, where a lot of people have already been doing that for a while. So just the time factor. In possibly every other profession we have to work harder because we're already behind. So that's the same thing here. Looking for ways to work harder. And in terms of being unique, what makes me stand out is just all you can do is work hard, pray hard, hope for the best. But every individual is unique in their own way. Everybody is unique. So just embrace your uniqueness. Don't try to fit into the mold. Just be who you are because no one can be a better person at being you than you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But yeah, don't try. To me, that's what I always try to do. Don't try to like, okay, well, this guy did this. Let me look for a way to do that. Yeah, if it's something you want to do it. But at the same time, no one's path to success is the same. It's not like you can say, well, I'm gonna go to college, gonna go to Ivy League school, gonna graduate, and then I'm gonna get this job. It's typically not like that. You don't know what's going to lead to the next thing. So you have to embrace every adventure. You have to embrace the possibility of writing.
Absolutely.
I came here as an actor. I
Mhm.
came here to act. And then with the passage of time, I realized, well, you have to create roles you want. How do you create a role you want? You have to write it. So I'm looking for ways, learning how to write. Okay, so while I wrote it, how did I get it made? Well, producers can make sure. Oh, I need to produce it. Okay, well, you're producing it, but then who can tell the story better than you can? Like the director's not really getting what you're trying to bring across. Maybe you didn't write it well, or maybe they just don't get it. So what do? You direct it yourself. So for me, it's about embracing our uniqueness. We're all different, and you have to look for ways in which you could make your uniqueness stand out, if that makes sense.
It does. It actually does.
Just look for a way to make it stand out. But all we can do is work hard. There's so much of this business that's not in our control. It's not like, you say, I'm going to study and I'm going to pass an exam. No, it's not like that. You can be the most talented person here,
Yes.
and you may not be working.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the combination of making sure you have talent and being honest with yourself about the amount of talent you have and your expectations. So be honest to yourself. Have some talent. Be willing to work hard. Don't let opportunities pass you by.
Right.
And like pray and just look for ways to stay grounded. I'm lucky enough to have a community of people who support me. Like right now, everybody who's watching and like watching this. I mean, they're supporting me and you.
Right.
I've been blessed to have a community of people like that, from my wife to my kids, my family, um, always just willing to cheer me on and look for ways to support me to get me going. So to me, that's what is going to help me get to the next level. The support I have from my family, the support I have from people like you and our greater African community here,
Right.
and just the willingness to take risks, willingness to work hard, willingness to write a show like this that I would say hasn't been done before, and hope that it finds an audience because you wrote it well, and just yeah, just do good at
Exactly.
everything.
You gave it your all in it.
Yes, you should because I feel that the audience is so intelligent. You have to try to give them an intelligent show. They deserve a lot more compared to what we're used to giving them. So let's try to give them something a lot better.
Speaking of what we're used to giving them, I know there are a lot of in Africa. I mean, there are some countries who are really doing well. Like your birth country, Nigeria, their movie industry has evolved by a wide margin over the
Oh,
years.
definitely.
The Ghanaian industry is doing excellently as well. But you have other countries that are still lagging, that are still struggling with, the quality of their material. What do you have to say to some of those industries that are still lagging behind, given where we are in terms of the era in which we live in?
I know. To me, that's a big part of me wanting to do something like this to show that we can do it. We just need to decide to do better. It's a tricky thing because it's supply and demand. People are willing to watch anything because it's coming from a friend. Okay, like I tell my friends, when my friends tell me the show is good, I don't listen to them because even if the show was bad, I feel like they'll still tell me it was good. You know what I mean? They're just being nice. But we have to be honest. Like it goes back to being honest and having some form of integrity. Like, why should you go to the movie theaters or watch a TV show, and then when you're watching something made by someone from the same country as you, it's noticeably lower in quality? Yes, we may not have the money like that the TV shows will have. I mean, you can watch Consequences. We don't have the money the TV shows have. But at the same time, if you just try to pick up on production issues, pick up on the story, write a script, rewrite it, get it better. And just part of one thing which I think is important to me, a lot of people see, they're like, oh my God, your actors are so good. I'm like, my actors are good because they're all union trained professional actors. So there's one thing we keep trying to do. We keep on trying to make movies and make TV shows, but we're not trained actors. How would you feel if your doctor wasn't trained?
Oh no. Don't say that.
Or I mean, and sometimes practice is what makes you get better. But a lot of times we're not looking to get better. We're looking to just make something because we know somebody's going to watch it.
Right.
So if we stop watching subpar quality, hopefully the people would decide to get better. But you know what? I'm not too concerned about it because everybody is getting better.
Correct.
Everybody is getting better. Like, look at what's happening with Hollywood now. Look at the quality of content they're producing. The Ghanaian film industry, Burkina Faso, Senegal, Egypt. The quality of films they're making. South Africa is totally amazing. And like, we all need to have the growth. So like, what I'll tell people is, be honest with yourself. If you're not growing and getting better, then stop doing it. You're not doing it. I mean, maybe you're making yourself happy because you tell yourself you're making a movie, but if you're not getting better, you're wasting everyone's time. If you look at, I did a short film. It has a weird title. It's called National Geographic Thriller. It's on YouTube. It was a little spoof of Michael Jackson's Thriller, which we all remember. We watched that as kids, and it scared all of us. That was done in about 2007 or 8.
Yes.
The quality on it is not that great. But by 2012, when I did chapter one, the quality was better. And now in 2017, when I'm doing consequences, the quality is obviously better than the previous two. So we have to be getting better. Everybody's not just going to be good from the get go, but we have to really want to be better. We have to feel that the audience deserves more, which is what I think is missing.
Right.
We keep thinking, yeah, we see a lot of sketches on WhatsApp and Facebook. You know, it's a 1 minute sketch or 2 minute sketch. Yes, those are sketches. They're supposed to make us laugh and they're funny. But now, if you're going to make a movie, you need to give us more than just one punchline. You need to give us a plot, a subplot. We need to have themes. We need to have good characters. We need to have good performances. It's important to have all those things. So I think all we can do is just, be the change we want to see in others. And so that's why I'm doing Consequences. It's a movie, it's a TV show made by a Cameroonian. So now let's get all Cameroonian projects to look like this.
Ooh. So you're throwing a challenge at your contemporaries out there. So those of you in the industry, if you're watching, take a lead from our boy Tony Tambi, who is making it happen and is getting all the accolades. Tonya, do you think that as far as Hollywood is concerned, that our African films are getting a fair recognition in terms of like when you have the international films festivals or you have all the awards when they do short films or international films? Do you think we're getting a fair view as far as nominations are concerned, or is it because we are not projecting ourselves good enough, or is it because of the quality? I think like Nollywood has a good presence. Bollywood is being recognized in Hollywood. Nollywood should be. We have Ghanaian wood. So what do you have to contribute to that?
No, I think they are. But again, it's one of those things where they say charity begins at home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood would recognize what they can relate to, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So yes, they do recognize a lot of African movies. We have there's a movie called Ben and Ara, which Constance Ejuma, who plays Isabel, and my sister, who's also a co-producer on Consequences, she produced it and starred in the movie. It's an amazing movie about a Muslim woman, a Muslim Cameroonian woman, who falls in love with an agnostic Caucasian man. It's so well done by this Ethiopian American director Niges Like. It's so good, and it's racked up a ton of awards, a ton of them. And if we do a story that they can relate to, then they will watch it and they would recognize it for what it is. Because we have tons of amazing stories. We have beautiful stories, and yeah, but they get, they understand their own world, But for me, on the flip side, it's important that we recognize us. So I'm happy we have FESPACO. I'm happy we have all the festivals. Agbo Gilbert is doing something in Cameroon, Camif, Nigerians, like everybody has all these festivals to recognize their own work. Because again, like I said, charity begins at home.
Exactly.
We do have a lot of work which is getting some recognition, but at the same time, we can't expect everything we do to be acknowledged by them. It's the same way we can't expect everything they do to be acknowledged by us.
You make a valid point that it has to be things that relates to them, but it just seems like most of the scripts that seems to relate, if it's not something that talks about slavery, if it's not a story that talks about, there's a more of a negative depiction, almost like you don't really hear the recognition when it comes to like a great, good storyline, just something that's really good.
I mean, sadly, that's the case, but it's what we see in the media. Like, if you look up news on Africa, you're going to hear famine, you're going to hear war, so child soldiers, you're going to hear Ebola, you're going to hear AIDS. So if a writer from the West is writing about Africa, that's what they'll write about. Because that's what they know. So that's why, to me, again, it's going back to all of us who are creating content. It's important for us to tell this story. These are a bunch of Africans in Consequences who don't seem to be, who are not child soldiers, who are not, I would say, poor per se, who speak English well.
Mm-hmm.
If that, I mean, not to sound a certain way, but you get what I mean.
It does make a difference. It does make a difference.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
does
these
with
are
us.
educated
We have to tell those
professionals.
stories.
Yes.
So it's up to us. We can't keep waiting for someone else to tell our story.
Mm-hmm.
If that, so we tell it. That's what I'm trying to do. Consequences. It's a different side of the immigrant story. And yes, they may not always recognize us, but we can't wait for them to keep on recognizing us. We have to acknowledge our work we do. We have to recognize ourselves and and do it the right way. Unfortunately for us now, we have a lot of festivals that are just, your friends make a festival and invite you and you win, and then you go home and they do it once or twice. And that's it. But hopefully we can start getting festivals that have the same recognition as the Oscars, as the BAFTAs, as all the award ceremonies we have here. And I think we're getting there. I think we're getting there. There is so much opportunity, and gradually it's been a gradual push to get better, but I think we are getting there, slowly but surely.
Yeah, you're right. I think if they came as an academy where people came together, not just individuals deciding, if they came together and formed a coalition and said, so that it gives it that magnitude and recognition, then I think it would have more longevity, more life to it.
It is. I know, and there are festivals like that. There's Fespaco. I mean, there's a bunch of them. And like I said, it's getting better, but it's going to take a while before we get to that level. And we also have to be honest and understand that the standard for movies is still the Hollywood movie.
Correct.
Yes. So to me, it's always about fusing, merging those worlds. Because again, I am African born, but I would like to call myself an American now. I'm still Cameroonian, Nigerian, or whatever it is. That's why for me it's important that my story reflects both worlds.
Correct.
It's important to have these characters be African, speaking English, French, Pidgin English, dealing with an African issue, eating African food, listening to African music, but still telling the American side of their story as well, because it's not less important.
No,
it's just
not.
a story. Yeah, the African American story is as important as the story of just the Africans or just the story of just the Americans. It's important that we do both.
I agree. I agree that it's important to bring both sides to the equation. That the African story. So you see yourself as you're quite Afrocentric, if I may say that, which is good because a lot of people sort of like forget that heritage. You want to have a departure from your past, but when in reality that makes your uniqueness. That is what differentiates you because you project that. So that no matter how much you depart from it, you really can't run away from it.
Oh yeah, no, we have to me, you have no reason to run away from it. It's who we are. But to again, we have to live both worlds. It's like growing up in Cameroon, and if you're in Bamenda, you speak English, and if you go to Yaoundé or Douala, you spoke French. It's learning to live between both worlds. I was born in Africa. I'll always be African, but at the same time, I live in America, and I have the opportunity to tell an American story, but again, I can still put in the African story. Like to me, that's why it was important to have, like in episode 1, the opening song is from a Cameroonian artist based here in LA, Babel, an amazing musician, and it was important to have that song. In episode 6, I have a song from episode 5. Sorry, there's a song from Boy Tag, who is an up and coming rapper in Cameroon right now. Episode 5 also has like a song from Gu Bandi. Gu Bandi is a Cameroonian, again, like me, born in Cameroon, living in the US now, who composes classical music. And so for me, it was important to get all those, because that's what we are.
Right.
We're not just Africans anymore. We're an African with the combination of the American life. We have to embrace that. That's, to me, is also part of being, like showing your uniqueness, embracing your uniqueness and how unique we are. So it's important to have those things.
Absolutely. I mean, Tony, I think we've had a lovely lovely hour here. Time is amazing how
Oh,
time.
has it been an hour? Wow.
It's amazing how time
Okay.
just like zooms by. But I'm gonna borrow another 5 minutes of your time if you will permit us, just to ask
Oh, yes,
you.
please. Let's keep going. I'm good.
Let's keep
I'm
going.
here. I can
I
do
think
this all day.
the comments that are coming through, there's just so many. I'm not able to read all of them, but I think it's all good feedback that's coming through. I mean, if there was anybody that wanted to call while we had you online. So what is a message that you would want to give, or what do you consider to be a legacy? Most people want to create a legacy in life, in their career, and as you go out there, you went from acting to now, you're writing, and now you're producing. What do you think is the thing that you want to leave behind? What would people remember Tony for, as far as your career is concerned?
Tony, the Oscar-winning Nigerian-born Cameroonian. I mean, obviously, we all want to win an Oscar. I mean, I want to get recognition from my peers, but to me, success in this industry would mean that I somehow changed I did enough work. I have enough of a body of work that somehow changed the perception of Africans in the world, if that makes sense.
It does.
To me, that's what success is. If they're able to say, oh, those guys, like now when they see us, it's always like the questions about what other language do you speak, or do you see monkeys and all that? I mean, sadly enough, it's true, even in 2017, 2018. But I just want people to just realize, like, if I succeed, to me, it means that because of me, people see Africans as more than child soldiers and refugees, and more than something. Just if people can see us for
Not the
who we are.
negative image anymore.
Yes, I want the negative image gone, because it's still us. But
Yeah.
it's the same thing like me trying to make a movie about the US, and then I don't show you, LA, New York, and I go to some backwoods area, and maybe say in LA, but I go to like the smallest part that
You
still
show
hasn't
the
really touched
hood.
civilization.
Let's go show the
You know,
hood or something.
For us, unfortunately, that's typically what gets shown. People go to Africa to see the animals. They hear about the war, the famine, and all the things we're dealing with, but nobody ever hears about the good side. Nobody sees us for who we are. And if I succeed, it will mean that some people, or whoever it is, see Africans now as this other group of people who could do this, who are this, or who, something like that.
Mm-hmm. So you're thinking continental in terms of the image that, at least for the continent. So that's really important for you as far as your legacy is concerned.
Oh, yes. I mean, there's stereotypes, and we embrace them. We like them sometimes, but at the same time, they can be limiting in how people see us.
Absolutely.
So I love stereotypes. They make me laugh, and they're typically stereotypes for a reason. But I want us to think, when you think of like, oh, let's get a doctor to play this role on TV.
Mm-hmm.
You don't automatically think of a Caucasian or an Asian or an Indian. It can be like, oh, it could be this person as well. So just little things like that,
Right.
like with the show, I tell people, like, think of any show or movie where there was a lawyer that was African.
Mm-hmm.
No one has still been able to tell me of any African lawyers they know. Again, in Hollywood, yes, in our work we make from the continent, we do that, obviously.
Yes.
But to me, I want us to be able to change that, with the work we do from the continent, with the work we're doing on consequences right now. If people can see things that way, just see us for who we are.
Absolutely. So what has been your proudest moment in your career, like the thing that made you the proudest, or maybe your family? Let me take you back to your family. How proud is your family of you?
Oh, it's funny. It's twofold. For me, the main thing was the play, the play called The Godfathers, where I got the NAACP Theater nomination.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing to be nominated, like, in the same category as some of the most prominent actors we know. And I got to go to the award ceremonies with my wife, and we we were sitting in the same room as Louis Gossett Jr., as Uncle Phil from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Are you serious? Oh wow.
Yes, it was amazing. So to me, I felt like, oh, I am part of this people. Like this could be me, you know.
Wow.
So that to me was a really, really huge moment. And again, sorry to be that guy, but again, I have to come back to consequences. Again, this being my baby, um, I've gotten so much recognition. People are like, "Oh man, it's really good. It's really good. Like it's done so well. It's this. I love this. I love that." This would have to be the second proudest moment for me. With the Godbrothers and that nomination, the NAACP nomination, my family really got on my back. My sister and my wife are my biggest fans, but they're also very hard to please. And I knew I was doing something right. But my sister, Jessica, she's like, you know what, this is really good. And my wife was also like, you know what, I like this. I like this. I mean, they like a lot of what I do, but just the support people get with this, and people keep getting the little things I try to do. You know, there's in episode 1, there's a mention of the Anglophone problem.
Right.
A lot of people have reached out to me about that because obviously we have something going on in Cameroon right now.
They do.
And they are happy that I was able to bring that up and talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we didn't really get into it. We didn't make it a political show. We didn't really get into it in detail, but at least I mentioned it.
Yes,
So
it's important that
people
those
love
who have
that.
a platform, that have a voice, should, be able to speak up about those kinds of issues.
Yes. So people love that. People love the fact that there's someone sent me a message in episode 3. She said she was sitting down to watch episode 3, and then she sees that Tito's character is eating the same food she was eating. She was eating puff and beans. So that was very exciting to her. So to me, when you have somebody who a specific thing that is said or done affects them and resonates with them, it's a big deal for me.
Right.
Yeah, because you want people to watch it, you want to have the widest audience as possible. But when you get somebody who tells you, like, you know what, this really did this for me, or this reminded me of this, or like I see this happening with me in my life, then to me that's a really cool moment. So I would say second proudest moment would be a lot of issues dealing with consequences. Yes, sorry, go ahead.
No. Oh, that's really awesome. I want you to know that we are very, very proud of you for all the work that you're doing, the amazing work. I mean, keep training, keep knocking those awards. And we want to hear you get those Oscars, win those Oscars eventually. Okay? So
I know. I want to.
You will. You've put it out there in the atmosphere, so we believe that it will come to pass. But before you exit, please tell the audience, how can they find you? How can they find Consequences? Do you have a page? Do you have a website? How can people follow this amazing series, this work that you're doing?
Yes, we have the easiest way to find us, YouTube and Facebook. Or like I guess everybody listening right now is on Facebook. There's a Consequences web series. You can find it on Facebook. You could also follow me on Facebook, Tony Tambi. Workboard, there's Instagram. We're on social media where it's available as possible. Just type in Consequences, CON with the $, and sequences, CON $EQUENCES, and you'll find us Google, YouTube, Facebook. We're available, and you can follow any of our actors. There's Bamba Jan Bamba, Constance Ajuma, Ebony Adams, John Tague. We're all closely linked with Consequences. If you find one of us, you will find Consequences. But yes, we are available. Social media, YouTube, Facebook. We have a website, Instagram, Twitter. We're all over the place. Very accessible.
All right. So guys, I want you guys to make sure, if you're watching, go out there and follow Tony Tambi and the whole crew. You can see their names in the cast. Make sure you watch them first of all, share it, like it, follow, tag, invite, do everything that you need to do to make sure that we put them out there on the map, on the globe, guys. All right. They're making us proud, and we want to make them proud in return. to produce such work, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort. So you want to make sure that we stay positive and, and very supportive of their work and the level of effort that they do. Tony, is the end of the year where, 2017 is almost coming to a close and we're about to start a new year. Do you have any message as far as how was 2017? Any message for those who are looking to the new year? Any aspirations? Any positive message that you want to leave for your fans?
Yeah, just keep working hard. You're gonna succeed through innovation, determination, but no one can work as hard as you. So let's just keep doing what we need to do. Let's keep supporting each other. Thank you so much, Diane, for having me on here. It's really cool. It's really cool, and just watching it live and seeing people leaving comments. It's amazing to see the amount of support that's out there already, and I'm so excited to be able to give them something to hang on to support. It's really nice. But no, we're all looking forward to the new year. I think it's going to be a great year. It has to be. Let's keep those who pray. Let's keep praying for peace and a solution to the problems we have back home and in Africa as a whole. And let's keep praying for peace and good stuff here in the U.S.
Awesome. Hey guys, this has been a fantastic show, guys. I'm sorry that we had some sound issues in the beginning, and apparently on my end as well, I saw some of the feeds saying they had some challenges listening to me. I hope that they were able to catch up at the end, but Tony was brilliant. He took time out to visit with us on the show. So we're thankful to have had him here with us. So guys, go out there and follow Tony Tambi. Follow him, listen to what he has to say. His work is amazing. I thank him so much for the time, the hour that we had. I want to wish you guys, for those of you who just came back from your holidays, I hope you had a wonderful holidays. And for those who are yet to cross over to the new year, I wish you a happy new year, but I'll be back again on Thursday before we close out. But for Tony, this is your chance to see him and wish him a happy new year in advance. And we are looking forward to very, very exciting things in the year to come. We hope to see Tony on big screens all over the place. And we hope that your show does get sponsorship. I know you were talking about there were some challenges, it wasn't picked up. We hope that you would get what you're looking for, and it deserves the visibility that you've.
Thank you.
Yeah, it does deserve that amount of visibility. But for now, until then, we will keep supporting, and we're happy for you, all right? So thank you, guys. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in. And I will let us exit in the meantime. So, I always like to sign off with my fans by telling them that if no one has told you that they love you, your girl Diane loves you, and I love you passionately with the love of God. Stay blessed, stay tuned, go out and follow both pages, follow dDTalks and follow Tony Tambi. All right, and the consequences as well. So until then, bye for now. Ciao. Tony, want to just wave out to your crew?
And shout out to the most amazing crew and cast in the world, my folks on Consequences. And Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to all the lovely people who tuned in. And thank you so much for your support. Really appreciate it.
All right. Thanks again, guys. Thanks again. This is going to be a wrap, y'all. It's a wrap for me. And I will be seeing you all again sometime really soon. So take care. And I wanted to go back to my girl, Naomi, as I sign off, y'all. And until then, Tony, you're free. You're free to
hello again, everybody.
To release yourself.
Okay. Thank you again for having me, Diane. Love you so much. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Baby, you got me cruising.
Take care, y'all. Take care, y'all. Bye.
Break of dawn. Yeah. Je veux danser avec toi, ma chérie, all night long. All night long. Yeah.
Bye. Naomi, I cheer in the house, y'all.